G'day everyone, I'm here with David Barros. David is the head coach, founder, coach extraordinaire, lifter extraordinaire of DB Health and Performance, who are competing at this year's TSF Team Champs. And we're excited to have David and the crew coming and down and competing in Maidstone in only 4 weeks' time. How you going, David? It's good to see you. It's good to catch up.
Yeah, going well, and quite the introduction there as well. Lifter extraordinaire. We're working on it. We're getting there slowly, but recent business and enjoying all the things that come with that. So, yeah.
Excellent. And you are a lifter extraordinaire in some sense. Extraordinarily, another adjective which I'm not going to put in. You can choose whatever adjective. Choose your own adventure.
Yeah.
But you guys are coming down and competing at Team Champs, and I think this will be the first time. I mean, I'm pretty sure you've competed at one of our comps before, but this will be the first time, obviously, that DB's got a team at Team Champs, right?
It is. It'll be the very first time. So I only came up with DBHP, so Dave Barros Health and Performance, recently. So pretty much over the course of this last year. And last year I'd competed with 3-point performance. So that would have been with Alexander Del Portis, James Young, Jeff Pendlebury.
Right. Yeah, of course.
And we're competing there. And this year, because I also work out of 3-point training down in Port Melbourne, but each of the coaches run their own businesses out of there, I pretty much decided to, why not bring my own team and get that going. And seem to have got together a bit of a decent crew. Well, hopefully we'll at least be competitive. We'll see how we go. But overall looking forward to tackling Team Champs again as a competitor, and now this time coach and competitor. So it should be fun.
Awesome. Yeah, you kind of said that DB is kind of relatively new, I suppose, less than a year old. What were you doing before that, and what's your experience in coaching, powerlifting, fitness? I know you've recently graduated as an osteo and stuff. Talk to us, for those that might not know very much about who you are, talk us a little bit through your background and your history.
Yeah, sure. So, like I said, it's only been in existence for the recent history, so about a year and a bit. Before that, I was working out of JPS as a coach as well, and an education coordinator there as well. So dealing with a wide range of different people, predominantly Gen Pop, and then diving into a little bit with the powerlifting scene there as well. I wouldn't say I'm probably there's a lot of teams here with a lot of experienced powerlifting coaches. I've only coached a few people to powerlifting comps, so I deal predominantly with a wide variety of different people. Like I said, predominantly Gen Pop, powerlifters, endurance athletes, team sports athletes. Like I said, a very wide range, and then also, like you said, I've recently graduated as an osteo, so I've been doing that for the last year. And because coaching and being a practitioner, there's a lot of the blending of the two practices. I do get a lot of people who start off in rehab and then come on board with training, and vice versa. Other people, in the community who are training then come on board as patients or rehab clients, and I'll help with programming and things along those lines. But yeah, I'd say I haven't been in the coaching game really that long either. I think I started at JPS in maybe 2018 or something like that. So I was coaching there for about 3.5 years, left there, and then took a little time off, and then found myself at 3-point for the last year. So not a whole lot of coaching experience, and a little bit more of lifting experience. Even with powerlifting, I did my first competition. I think it was November 2018 at one of the JPS Opens. And I've probably only done a handful since. I think I've only done 4 competitions, and this will be my 5th competition. So, yeah, reasonably recent in terms of the coaching side of things, and then also the competing side of things as well. So a bit of a newbie in multiple fields here, which makes things fun. But
I think it's very modest of you. Excuse me. I think it's very modest of you to call yourself a newbie when you've been coaching for 5 years. When for a lot of people, 5 years is a long time in the fitness industry. I mean, it is specifically in the fitness industry, is a long time, because most people don't last much more than 6 months or 12 months. So I would consider yourself to be not as much of a newbie as you might be considering yourself, but I think that speaks to how humble you are. This year, you are competing and coaching at the same time. A unique challenge that a number of other coaches or a number of other teams are doing. I think maybe there's 5 teams in total that are doing something like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can think of 4 off the top of my head. There might be a 5th that I'm missing. Why is it that you wanted to send a team this year as a coach? Like I know last year you competed under 3-point, and this year you're kind of obviously you've launched your business, and I guess that's going to be part of it. But talk us through a little bit about how you kind of decided to want to send a group over to Team Champs.
Yeah, for sure. It definitely started with the enjoyment that came out of prepping for Team Champs last year. Like that was such an unbelievable experience being able to, because that's the thing, at the end of the day, powerlifting is a very solo sport. Like, you verse people within your weight class, you might have some people within the same kind of team, competing alongside you, sure, but it is a very solo venture between yourself as an athlete and the coach. So being able to experience something like Team Champs where you're working alongside other people within your team to get to a certain goal and rack up a certain number of points is definitely a completely different experience. And because I enjoyed it so much, I was like, well, one, I'd of course love to beef up my own business, let people know about who I am and what I'm about, and bring a pretty solid team to Team Champs, but also just share that experience with some of my own lifters as well. So I think those would be the big reasons as to why I wanted to do Team Champs and bring my own team there as well. And of course, like, who doesn't love competition? I played team sports my entire life, being pretty competitive, trying to be as competitive as possible. So this is just another way that I can scratch the competitive itch, so to speak.
No, I like that, and it's interesting what you said there about the experience you had last year, because when I speak to Alex Della Portis, who coaches 3-point, is when we had our podcast interview, he said that sending a team to Team Champs was one of the best things that he ever done for his business or for his coaching brand. I think he used the words himself, put him on the map type of deal. You were part of that team. Did it feel like that for you? Did it feel, what was that prep like? You kind of mentioned just then that it was a really good experience. What was what did you learn from that last year? And then are you trying to apply some of that with your current clients this year? Like, how's the difference between this year and last year?
For sure. It's one of those things where, sorry, I might have cut it out a little bit, but I think for the most part, just having that support where, like there's that little bit of dependence on you to perform well, and to perform for other people as well. I feel like that was the biggest thing that made my lifting the best it could have been at that time anyways. There was a lot of injuries and stuff like that, but there was always that additional positive pressure to perform and do well for the team. So that was something that, was definitely very different to any other prep. And like you said as well, it helped kind of put you as an athlete on the map as well, because it's like, they're part of 3PP. Who are 3PP? They're a gym out in Port Melbourne, this and that. It made it a lot more real as a competition. Like, I feel like sometimes at local powerlifting comps, you go in there, you compete, but it doesn't have that same sense. Like, for anyone who's played like any kind of team sports, when you're walking out onto the pitch, it's a real competition. It's competitive from the get-go. And I feel like sometimes in some local competitions, you just don't get that feeling, because you are almost competing against yourself a lot of the time. So I think that's what Team Champs immediately brought. And then it brought out a lot of positives for anyone else competing. So I thought it was really great.
I love that. A lot of the other coaches I've spoken to, and even myself, grew up doing team sports just like yourself. And, when I started powerlifting, that's kind of one thing I missed. It was weird. I obviously have a lot of competition in powerlifting as well. And I've competed at competitive events. But there's something different about also feeling that obligation, like you described. You're doing it for other people. You don't want to let your team down. There's a great story from Team Champs last year. Deacon Strong, one of Alex's clients, I literally had her name in my brain 5 seconds before I started the sentence. Danny, I forget what happened. She was sick or she got hurt or something, like a week out. but she still turned up on the day and she squatted 75 and benched whatever it was. Like she did the bare minimum essentially, because there was this sense of like, well, if I don't, then we're going to lose points. And I think she ended up coming second or third. Like I think she was in an empty weight class, but those are valuable points for your team. And so whether it's stories like that where a lifter turns up even when they might otherwise pull out, or whether it's stories like in training where you're more obligated to train harder because it's like, well, if it's just for yourself and you skip accessories, well, nobody's going to cop it except yourself. But when you're in this setting, you're like, well, I don't want to let the team down, so I better do my Bulgarian split squats. All of my clients.
Which no one's really happy to do, but I agree. And then it's obviously when things are negative or down, or you might have copped a little bit of a niggle, you then have that like immediate support network as well. So it just means that you might bounce back from anything, failed lift, niggles, whatever it might be, just that little bit quicker as well. So it's like I said, it's just having that team-based mentality makes a world of difference for sure.
Big time. Now, talk us through your lifter list. Obviously, you're competing yourself. Maybe start with yourself, and then you can roll through the talent pool there. Who have you got representing DB?
Yeah, so look, I've certainly got my challenge cut out for me. That's for damn sure. With the 82.5 kilo class is pretty damn stacked to say the least. And I've been telling most people, like, at this point, I'm just happy to be there. Like it'll be nice to potentially get maybe a fourth place, but look, you've got so many good lifters. Frank Becerra's unbelievable. Dennis Pereira, he's not bad, I suppose. You got Marge out of Avia, Josh Joyce, Jacob Skeppers if he competes. Like there's so much there that it's just unbelievable. It's So look, in terms of myself, I would love to anticipate maybe a fourth or fifth finish, but we'll see how we go. It's a very, very competitive weight class. I think my goal on the day in particular will just to probably get to maybe, I'd love a 600 kilo total. That would be lovely. But we'll see how we go with that. So far, training's been going really well. Hit a few lifts in training that I've only been able to hit in comp, so hit some training PBs. So that's been good so far, and we've still got a little bit of time. So far, pretty happy with my training. But with the talent pool in the 82.5s, we'll see how we go. It is a really stacked weight class.
Yes, definitely. I think it's one of the most excited classes. So you're in the 82.5. Who else have you got representing DB?
So in the 75 kilo females, I've got Caitlin Ryan, who's an unbelievable lifter. I'm really excited to see how she goes. She's, like I said, an excellent lifter. She's got a great mentality. She will be competing in, I don't think there's too many people in her weight class, and she would be looking for a pretty high finish, to say the least. She's got some really good numbers. We had a really successful couple of training blocks, and we did a bit of a max out in December, where she hit PBs across the board, 140 squat, 75 bench, and a 200 kilo deadlift. You'd be hard pressed to find many people in the 75 kilo weight class hitting 200 kilos. So I think she'll be
proud
incredibly competitive.
From the coach.
Look, it's definitely going to be hard to beat. And look, there's a number of good competitors already in the 75 kilo weight class. But I do suspect that we'll definitely have a strong performance. There's a few things that I'm a little concerned about. I mean, like, I believe Emily Kano from the 82s probably won't drop down. She normally competes at quite a lightweight. Then you've got Evangeline from Lou Lifts as well. She might be an interesting one because she might drop down to the 75s. But anyways, I do think Caitlin will be pretty damn competitive. Like I said, she's an excellent lifter. She's got a number of comps under her belt now. I think this might be her fourth. I think she would have done a novice comp, a local comp, nationals, and then this should be her fourth competition. So very much looking forward to see how she goes.
Okay, cool. So
and she'll be up against Angie Bella for Strength Fortress.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like with a 200 kilo deadlift, Caitlin might have Angie and the whole 75 kilo wrapped up. So hopefully some points there. So I'm not going to say an easy 6 points. There's no easy 6 points, but 6 points there.
There's
And
definitely no easy 6 points.
you've also got Ryan and Jack. Who are these guys?
Yep. So Ryan Codlin, he's a lifter that I've been working with reasonably recently. He's a fantastic lifter. Honestly, this man would run through a brick wall if you asked him to. He's phenomenal. Relatively inexperienced in a sense where he hasn't done too many competitions. I think he might have only done one or two official comps and then a novice comp, but he's got a pretty damn good total for a 75 kilo lifter. I think his best in his novice comp, I think he hit a 600 total. So he'll be pretty damn competitive as well. Certainly not as competitive as Brian Ong from Crundle, but I think, look, if everything goes well on the day, Ryan has some good lifting and the 75 kilo class stays reasonably small. I don't see why we can't place as well in that weight class. So very excited to see how he goes as well.
Yeah, so the weaker Ryan, it sounds like. And Jack Dunn was a late swap in. Talk us through what happened here.
So Jack Dunn, look, it wasn't too late. We had chatted a while ago, and with him it was a bit interesting because I had two of my lifters originally, Hannah and Charlotte. Hannah was looking good, everything was great, but she had the call up to go do medicine in Wollongong. So I feel like with her, it would have been quite a challenge doing team champs, starting med, all of that fun stuff. So I just remember at the time having a bit of a conversation with Jack, and I just asked him randomly, and he said yes, and I was like, oh, fuck. Okay, cool. Well, this changes things. And anyways, we had a little bit more of a conversation, and he's like, "Yeah, sweet, let's do it. Let's hop on board." And so he's going to be another exciting one as well. And he replaced Han, and he's going to be pretty damn competitive in the 90 kilo class as well. His training's been looking good. He's been hitting some training PBs as well. Very excited to see how Jack goes. And Jack's
Cool.
out from Tassie as well.
I was about to say Jack's not from Melbourne as well, so he's our only Tasmanian representative that I know of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he coaches out of Leviathan Strength in Tasmania, and honestly, it is probably one of the sickest gyms you will ever lay your eyes on. And
Really?
I'll be competing there in a couple of months as well. So very much looking forward to seeing that. But like if you go check out Leviathan Strength online, like it just looks unbelievable. It's such a large gym, got a whole bunch of absolutely insane equipment, and I don't know what's in the water down in Tassie, but they've got some really damn good lifters. So it's I'm very excited to see what the Tasmanian scene, what comes out of the Tasmanian scene in the next couple of years. I think it's going to be outstanding.
Yeah, look, I don't think we should talk about the water in Tasmania because for reasons that go beyond what we're going to talk about today. But man, it sounds like you got a good team and like a pretty diverse team. And I mean, for someone that's sending a team in their first year, you've got a really competitive group of lifters there. I was going to say group of guys, but obviously with Caitlin in there too. So we're excited to have you guys down. Before we hit record, you're talking about how excited you are for the meet and how I think your words were absolutely insane, the standard of lifting. Are there some certain teams that you're looking at that you might think are the teams to watch for? Let's start with the Challengers bracket. What are your predictions in the Challengers bracket? Who you think is going to be taking home that sweet $500 after party money, and who's going to be being promoted into the premiers the year after?
It's such a tough one, honestly. I've tried my best to not look at all the other interviews just so I don't find myself repeating a lot of what they say. But I think I saw Vinay's...
That's a good excuse to say that you don't want to watch my shit, so that's fine.
I promise I'll get on YouTube tomorrow morning and start watching it. But it's honestly a hard one because I feel like there's a lot of really strong teams at the moment, but you have a lot of the gyms and online coaches that have such a big pool to choose from that it's really hard to say who's going to win. I mean, look, with whatever's on paper at the moment, you've got a few gyms that I think will really push for that top four in the Challengers bracket. So you've got the Chads, the Villains. They're going to do incredibly well. You've got Stronghold Ballarat. I feel like a few people are sleeping on Stronghold a little bit. I think they're going to put out a really solid team, and they're going to be very competitive. I saw a snippet the other day mentioning the Panthers. Hardly anyone's been talking about them, and they're going to rack up a lot of points. They've obviously played the game really well. I think they've got, 2 lifters in classes where they might be competing on their own. Could be wrong with that. But they might rack up an easy, not particularly easy, nothing's easy, but they might rack up 12 points just like that and place in another few divisions as well. So, yeah, I think Stronghold, Chads, Panthers. Look, SR Collective, I think, are being very sneaky at the moment. I think they've been playing the mystery card really well, really, really well. So I'm very interested to see what, because I'm pretty sure every single lifter they've got is a placeholder, apart from Jaden, who I'm almost certain will go down a weight class now. I'm excited to see what they bring to the table, to be quite frank. And then you'll have some teams that might just sit outside that. I like to think our team, DBHP, might sit on the outside there. Maybe if we're lucky and have a really good day, and some teams have a poor day, we might sneak in. Avia might be in that same kind of pocket there as well. That's probably my prediction for the Challengers bracket.
It's tough because I feel like, 4 teams get promoted, but I feel like there's about 8 teams that are really gunning for it. And so that I love that, it's not going to be a walkover. It's not like, okay, it's clearly going to be these 4 and everybody else is just fighting for scraps. It's like, you mentioned the SI Collective. I on paper, I don't think they're going to be on the top 4, my personal opinion, but I know they're gunning for it. And so it's like, well, when your heart's set on that, anything can happen, and maybe they string together a good day. And I know the same thing is with Avia. I know the same thing's true for a number of the teams that are really gunning for that top 4 spot. So it's going to be tough. And yeah, I'm super excited for it. Before I ask you about your predictions in the Premier bracket, I want to ask you about the culture and the energy and the camaraderie or rivalry, because clearly yourself, Jim, Alex, you're all in the same circles. You mentioned Chunks there as well. Yeah. It's kind of like this weird love triangle, love quadrangle stuff going on here. Mm-hmm. What's it been like training in the gym? There's a lot happening, you could say, as some would say. Yeah. What's the culture like, or at least for those that might not be realize what is going on here? Who how are you all connected? You've all spawned from one kind of like a spider, just like spawning all these eggs.
I know. It's yeah. Look, there's a lot of us. So cool. Where did it really begin? Look, it's hard to say, but there's pretty much, in summary, there's a lot of the teams that are competing at team champs that are all friendly with one another. We're all good mates. So yeah, you've got close to 5 teams: Avia, DBHP, or DBHSP, as some of the fellas have been calling it now. Who else? SR Collective, 3PP. And there might be another one in there as well. But look, overall, it's been really positive. Like, we take the piss out of one another, but it's all been really positive. We're all pushing each other to be the best. It's like almost being one big team, which is even better. And so far it's been good. We all train in the different locations as well, whether it's SR Collective, whether it's down at Avia, 3 Point. So everyone's getting around each other, and look, it is for sure competitive, and yeah, like I said, it's overall very, very positive. Even the other day, what was it? Both of the posters obviously came to 3 Point, and I decided to put my poster on top of Alex's, and then and then he took mine off and put it over the bin. So it's like, it's all good fun though. And yeah, like I said, it's all positive, and everyone's just really pushing each other. And honestly, couldn't ask for a better kind of community aspect to that. It's been fantastic.
I love it. It's like very much unique experience for you guys, because there's so many of you in the same circles and whatnot. Whereas some of the other clubs, it might be a little bit, and not on the outer. It's not. I'm not referring to it as a clique, but if you don't have those networks within the groups, it's a little bit of a different experience. So it's very interesting. when you asked to have a team. I think you asked to have a team, and you know, there was a part of me that was a bit like, well, there's already a team at 3 Point, but I guess it is different. So it's like, let's have you.
Yeah.
It'll be fun, and I'm glad to have you guys all there. It's going to be really good. Now, the Premier bracket, the quality is absolutely insane. It's freaking unbelievable. And, for myself, just as a fan of powerlifting, like obviously I just love lifting. So to see the quality going to be, hitting the platform that day is going to be awesome. What are you predicting? What's going to happen? Shit's going to hit the fan. Where's it going to fly?
That's $1 million question there, honestly. It's a really tough one to say. I think with a lot of teams in the Premier bracket, they do have the additional benefit of just having more people to choose from as well. So
like bigger
honestly,
pools of
I think
clients.
100%. Like teams like Lou Lifts, for example, who's got like heaps and heaps of lifters. Some of these big teams are just going to have so many options at their disposal. It's going to be really hard to say, who's going to do really well. Yeah, honestly, I had a bit of a think about this before I came on. I honestly couldn't pick it. I have a feeling that, there are going to be some teams who already fielded a really strong team. Like I think Strength Culture have some really good lifters in some really good positions when it comes to their divisions. So I don't think they'll make too many changes. But, there are some, once again, with a big pool to choose from that might just make that competitive advantage and go into a lower or higher weight class or pick some different lifters altogether, really. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see, what is it, next on the 21st, when the finalised teams come out.
Sorry, a week from today. Sorry, no, a week from today. Sorry, 16th.
Yeah.
Friday, a week from today.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. So a week from today. So not far out at all to figuring out what the finalised teams are. But look, in terms of who's going to be right up there, I think a few people have said probably very similar to myself, but you've got Apex who are fielding a huge team. They're going to be unbelievable to watch. Who did they have in the 67s? Lotta. She's going to be one to watch for sure. Strength Culture, like I said, you've got people like Constance who, man, she's an insane lifter. I think going down a weight class, what was she, 67s last time out. She's going to be really good. Who else? Lou Lifts, I think, will definitely be competitive. They've got some lifters in some pretty niche categories as well. I'd say those three are right up there. I'm sure I'm missing maybe one or two. I wouldn't be surprised if some of the the teams from the challengers bracket also rack up a number of points. I think there's going to be a lot of surprises. To be honest, I feel like a lot of people have some teams in mind that they think are going to come away with it or be in that top three pretty easily. But that's the joy of competition, Dave. Like you said, shit can hit the fan. People you expect to compete and compete well, don't. They shit the bed. Other teams come up. It's like I said, it's going to be unbelievable. I think there's going to be a lot of surprises that maybe people don't anticipate, for sure.
No, I totally agree with you. I love my favorite thing about asking people this question. You said you haven't been watching any of the episodes, so that's okay. I'm not hurt, but the answer that I get all the time is, I reckon this team will do well. This team should be top three. Also, this team. Also, that team. Also, this team's really good, and that team's really good, and this team should. And I'm like, I've asked for a top three.
We're all going to do really well. Yeah,
you've listed 8. And I think that just speaks to the fact that there's nothing clear. It's just so vague. Like you're getting all these people having these like wild, left of field predictions. But like when you think about it, you're like, actually, that's not so left of field at all. Actually, that's pretty legit. And so, I think that's what's going to be really fun. And I think one thing as well that, in the last week or so or two before the comp, I'm going to do, some more clarification posts. Just make sure everybody's like really on board and understand what's going on. But one of the things I want to even clarify now, because you mentioned some of the challengers brackets are going to really shake things up at the top, is that the top 4 of the challengers get promoted and the top 7 overall get promoted. It's not the top 7 on day 2, it's the top 7 overall. Now, naturally, some of those in the challengers bracket might be in that top 7. And so any leftover spots then go who's to the next best team. So you go, okay, let's say 2 of those teams in that challengers bracket who are promoted are also in the top 7. That actually frees up 2 spots below them.
Yes.
And those spots go then to the best team next. And you could be 5th in the challengers bracket. But if you were, 10th overall, then you actually get to compete the next day. So there might actually, I would not be surprised to see that we end up having 5 or even 6 from the challengers get promoted. I don't know. It's just going to be really, really fun. So
I think the assumption was that it was like 2 separate divisions, and that was it. And it was very much like English Premier League and Championship. You have the top 3, bottom 3 teams go down, top 3 teams go up, and that's it. And it's 2 separate leagues. But it just adds, once again, another layer of complexity that I think is going to be absolutely unbelievable. So, yeah, you can have a lot of challenges teams come up, and I think, like you said, it's going to shake things up quite a bit.
Dave, it's been awesome to chat to you and hear your perspective. I'm glad that you guys are fielding a team this year. This is your first year at the team champs, as a group, obviously. So we're excited for that. And so I'm wishing you the best of luck with the rest of your training. So thanks for your time.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's going to be fun to compete, and thank you and TSF for hosting an incredible event. It's going to be awesome.
Hopefully it's going to be the best weekend of the year. Good luck with all the rest of your training. We'll talk to you soon. Cheers, mate. Bye.
Thank you. See you, JP.